Hi everybody, it's Claire back with another art journal video. Today I'm playing in the Large Dilutions journal, just adding some gesso onto the page using an old gift card just to scrape that across the surface of the page. And then I am starting off with Dina Wakley Media Cheddar and just adding a stripe of that to the top of the page, using quite a dry brush for that. So I have a little bit of water on, but it wasn't oversaturated. And then I have added a bit of water and I'm just blending out that bottom part, just pulling that down a little bit. So next I'm using blushing. This isn't a colour that I often choose. I don't know why, I'm just never really drawn to it. And then I have used magenta and finally turquoise. And I'm just kind of trying to blend those colours together a little bit where the stripes meet each other. So I did just use a little bit of a wet brush for that part. So next I'm using this stencil. It's from the Stencil Girl Club. This is a monthly club that you can subscribe to, and you get access to videos and you get stencils each month too. This was from November 2021 and it's the Seth Apter and Mary Beth Shaw collaboration. It's a lovely size for this journal. And works perfectly on this page. So you notice that I'm going in with turquoise here and adding that through the stencil. And the reason I did that was because I wanted a contrast with the colours that were on the background. So once I had applied that through the stencil, I wanted it to be quite opaque, so I did go back in and add a couple more layers in some places just to make sure that it had covered the background. It was really quite effective because the little bits of colour from the background were peeping through the stencil when it was lifted. So then I flipped it over and added it onto the other side of the book, and I wasn't particularly worried about trying to match up the pattern on the stenciling. It didn't really matter too much. And using a blending tool made this quite easy and quicker than using a makeup sponge. Although, like I say, I did have to go in and add a couple of extra layers. So then once that's dry, I'm just adding a rough black border around the edge of the page. When I say rough, I just mean I'm not being too careful about keeping the edges neat and tidy. If you wanted neat and tidy, then you could always mask off using some masking tape, just so that you can get a straighter line, but I wasn't particularly worried about that. You notice that I've also left a gap in the middle of the left-hand page. That's because I'm going to be putting a magazine image on that page, and there was no point stenciling over all of it. So then I'm just using my Posca pen, and I am going to be drawing around all of these little marks on the page. This is quite a fiddly job, but it's one that you can kind of just relax while you're doing it. It's quite a meditative process. But it really is very effective when it's finished. So this is a great way to create quite a striking background in quite a simple way, really. So there's only been like 3 processes: the colours on the background, the stenciling, and then outlining the pattern, and it will create a really stunning background. So this was the magazine image that I decided to use, and I'm just going to be sticking that in using some glue stick. And then using quite a thick Posca pen, I'm going in and adding my text. And you notice that I am mixing up capital letters and lowercase letters too. It gives quite a cool vibe to the page. And then once I've got it mapped out where I want the words to be, I'm just going in and adding some different elements to the letters. So at the end of each letter I'm just broadening out, adding almost like a triangle shape on the ends. It just gives the letters a bit more fun, more of a fun element. And it is great fun to play with fonts. It's something that I do like doing. So if this isn't something that you've tried, give it a go, because it is a fun process. And if you're not confident to go straight in with your pen, then just map it out first in pencil so that you've got an idea where your words are going to go. Plan it out first if you are worried about getting it wrong. And then once I'd got the writing to a point where I liked it, I then went in with a bright pink Posca pen and added a shadow to each of the letters. This really helps to pop those out from the background, and it's a really good way to just make that writing stand out a bit. And of course you're adding more colour onto your page, which is never a bad thing, is it? Okay, so then I'm going in and adding some dots to the page too. Just kind of breaks up the spaces, and I do love how it looks. So then also, this is a Dina Wakley stencil, and I love this little collection of spots on there, and decided that I would add those into the border just to be a bit different. And I think also it just helps push that black away a little bit, so it's less of a focal point. And it kind of fits with the fun elements on the page too. And then, because I wanted to do more, I decided I would add some patterns, so I'm just bringing out the marks on those trousers that this model's wearing here in this image, and just drawing those in using my Signo Uniball in white. And you can see here that my pen was having a bit of being temperamental as it started off, and then it got better, didn't it? So don't be afraid to add details onto your magazine images that you might use in your work. It can kind of make them quite fun, and it's also fun to see what else you can add to make it different. So there you go, there is the finished page. You see how well those letters pop off the page. So thanks for watching, and I will see you again soon.